Welcome, everyone, to Mind Over Matter, the podcast where we dive deep into the fascinating corners of human potential and perception. Today, we're tackling a concept that's often misunderstood but incredibly powerful: mentalism. And no, we're not talking about pulling coins from behind your ear, Theo, much to your disappointment, I'm sure.
Oh, a little disappointment, I won't lie, Ruby. I was practicing my card tricks all morning, but I'm genuinely intrigued by the broader, philosophical meaning. Reality begins in the mind. It's a bold statement. What exactly are we getting into here?
It's about understanding that our internal world, our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations, actually shapes how we perceive and interact with the external world. It's not just think positive, it's much deeper. It's almost like our brain is the ultimate filter, determining what information gets through and how it's interpreted.
Exactly, Ethan. Think about it from a cognitive science perspective. Our brains are constantly constructing our reality based on sensory input, sure, but also on our past experiences, our biases, our emotional state. We don't just objectively observe, we actively interpret. So, in a very real sense, the reality you experience is unique to you, filtered through your mental landscape.
That's such a crucial distinction, Anna. It's not that the physical world doesn't exist, but our experience of it, the meaning we derive, the opportunities we see or don't see, that's all largely an internal construct. I mean, have you ever had two people describe the same event in completely different ways?
Oh, all the time, especially with traffic incidents or trying to explain what happened in a sports match. It's like they were watching a completely different game. I always just assumed one of them was mistaken, or maybe just a bit dramatic.
Or both. But it really highlights how our individual perspectives color everything. I remember once I was convinced a friend was angry with me because of the tone of their text. I replayed it in my head, building this whole narrative. Turns out they were just tired. My mind created the reality of them being angry.
That's a perfect example of confirmation bias at play, Ethan. We often seek out or interpret information in a way that confirms our existing beliefs or fears. If you believe someone is mad at you, you're more likely to interpret ambiguous cues as confirming that belief, even if they aren't. Your mind, in effect, creates that anger for you.
It's almost like our internal monologue is constantly writing the script for our lives, isn't it? And sometimes that script is a horror movie when it really should be a romantic comedy. So, if reality truly begins in the mind, does that mean we can change reality simply by changing our minds?
Now that's where I start getting skeptical. I mean, I can believe I'm a billionaire all I want, but my bank account isn't magically going to fill up. There has to be a line between wishful thinking and actually influencing reality, right?
Absolutely, Theo. It's not about magic. It's about influence and opening yourself up to possibilities. If you truly believe you're incapable of something, you won't even try. But if you shift your mindset to, I can learn this, you're suddenly open to seeking out resources, practicing, and taking action. The external reality changes because your internal reality allowed it to.
Exactly. It's not about altering physical laws, it's about altering your response to those laws and the opportunities within them. Think about the placebo effect. A person believes a sugar pill is medicine and their body's own healing mechanisms are activated, leading to actual physiological changes. The belief itself, a purely mental construct, alters physical reality within the body. That's powerful.
The placebo effect is truly mind-blowing when you think about it. It's like our brain has this incredible pharmacy within it, and belief is the key to unlocking it. So, what are some practical ways listeners can start applying this idea that reality begins in the mind, beyond just thinking positive?
For me, the first step was recognizing when I was letting my negative assumptions dictate my actions. Like, I used to dread networking events, convinced everyone would be cliquey and I'd just stand in a corner. My reality for those events was always awkward. But when I started reframing it as an opportunity to genuinely meet interesting people, even if it was just one or two, the experience completely changed. I still sometimes stand in a corner, but now I usually have a drink in hand and a smile on my face, ready for a chat.
That's a brilliant example, Theo. It's about conscious reframing. Instead of saying, I hate this, try, this is challenging and I'm going to learn something. Or instead of, I'm stuck, say, I'm at a crossroads and I get to choose my next path. It shifts your emotional state and your problem-solving approach almost instantly.
And it goes beyond just words. It's about visualizing, too. Athletes use visualization constantly. They don't just think about winning, they mentally rehearse the entire race, the perfect shot, the feel of crossing the finish line. This mental preparation primes their body and mind for actual success, making it more likely to happen in the real world.
So it's almost like creating a mental blueprint. If you repeatedly build a blueprint of failure or impossibility, that's what your actions will follow. But if you build a blueprint of success and possibility, you're setting yourself up to execute that. It sounds so simple, yet it's incredibly difficult for many people to implement consistently.
Yeah, because our brains are hardwired for negativity bias. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism, right? Always looking for threats. So consciously overriding that takes effort. It's like trying to paddle upstream when the current's pulling you down.
It is, but it gets easier with practice. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you consciously choose to challenge those negative thoughts, to reframe situations, to visualize positive outcomes, the stronger that mental muscle becomes. You literally start to rewire your brain.
That's neuroplasticity in action. Our brains are not static. They change and adapt based on our experiences and focus. So, by intentionally directing our thoughts and beliefs, we are quite literally changing the physical structure of our brains, which then changes how we perceive and interact with the world around us. It's a feedback loop.
That's fascinating. So if someone is feeling stuck, feeling like their reality is just one big wall, the first step isn't necessarily to try and knock down the wall physically, but to examine the mental wall they've built, right?
Definitely. It's about questioning the narratives you've accepted as truth. I'm not good enough for that job. I'll never find a partner. I'm always unlucky. Those are often stories we tell ourselves, not objective facts. And once you start questioning them, they lose their power.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. Sometimes you realize the truth you've been clinging to was just something someone else told you once, or a conclusion you jumped to after one bad experience and you've been carrying it around ever since.
And it's incredibly empowering to realize that you have agency over your internal narrative. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges or difficulties, but rather choosing how you relate to them. You can't control every external event, but you absolutely can control your internal response and interpretation of those events.
So let's talk about intentionality. If reality begins in the mind, how intentional do we need to be about shaping it? Is it just about stopping negative thoughts or actively cultivating specific mental states?
I think it's both, honestly. You need to prune the weeds, but you also need to plant the seeds. I try to start my day by setting an intention, even if it's just, today I'm going to be patient, or today I'm going to find joy in small things. It really does set a different tone.
Yeah, Theo's got it right. If you don't actively choose what to focus on, your mind will just wander, often to default negative patterns. Meditation, journaling, even just a few minutes of quiet reflection can be incredibly powerful tools for cultivating that intentionality.
And it's not about being happy all the time, which is an unrealistic expectation. It's about cultivating a resilient mindset, one that acknowledges difficulties but actively seeks solutions, learns from setbacks, and maintains a sense of purpose. This proactive mental engagement is what truly shifts your perceived reality over time.
That's a fantastic point, Anna. Resilience is key. It's not about denying reality, it's about building the internal capacity to meet it head-on, regardless of what it throws at you. What about the idea of manifestation that gets thrown around a lot in popular culture? How does that fit into this more grounded understanding of mentalism?
Manifestation. That's another one where I have to separate the woo-woo from the practical. I don't think you can just sit on your couch and manifest a new car. But I do think if you truly believe you're capable of getting a new car, you're more likely to work harder, save money, research options, and take the steps to acquire it.
Exactly, Theo. It's not magic, it's activated intention. When you manifest, you're really just aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions towards a specific goal. Your mind becomes incredibly focused, and that focus then directs your energy and efforts in the real world, increasing your chances of success.
And it also affects how you perceive opportunities. If your mind is tuned to the possibility of a new car, you might suddenly notice ads, sales, or even conversations about cars that you would have completely overlooked before. Your reality becomes saturated with information relevant to your goal, simply because you've directed your mental filter to it.
So, in essence, our minds aren't just reflecting reality, they're actively participating in its creation, or at least our experience of it. It's a profound thought that places a lot of responsibility, but also a lot of power back into our hands.
Yeah, it makes you realize how much time we spend letting external circumstances dictate our internal state, when it could be the other way around. It's like, the traffic is bad, so I'm angry. But maybe it could be, I choose not to let traffic ruin my mood, so I'll listen to a podcast instead.
It takes practice, of course. It's not an overnight switch. But every small choice you make to shift your perspective, to question a limiting belief, to intentionally focus on what you want instead of what you fear, builds that mental muscle. And then, one day, you look back and realize your reality has genuinely changed.
And that shift isn't just internal. When your internal reality changes, your outward demeanor, your energy, your approach to challenges, all of that changes. And how you show up in the world profoundly affects how the world responds to you. So yes, your mind truly does begin to sculpt your reality, brick by mental brick.
What a powerful note to end on. It's not about being naive, it's about being empowered. Thank you, Theo, Ethan, and Anna, for this incredible conversation about how reality truly begins in the mind. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to start examining their own mental landscapes. Go out there and start consciously shaping your reality, everyone.
Thanks, Ruby. It's been a mind-bending discussion.
My pleasure. Remember, your mind is your greatest tool.
Indeed. Keep those mental filters working for you, not against you. Until next time.